I'm here with Steven Kostanski, writer and director of Deathstalker, and Frankie Frico, Psycho Gorman, The Void. I know when Psycho Gorman came out, I watched that, and then I got the Blu-ray, and I was trying to talk my sisters into let my niece and nephews watch it. I was like, "You guys are gonna love this," and it's like, "Can we watch it?" I'm like, I gotta talk your mom into it first." But I think your movies have kind of a really fun quality because, like the amount of gore and violence in it, if the movies were a darker tone, it'd be too much. But the way that your movies are kind of fun and funny, it kind of gives sort of a Guar vibe to it, which kind of goes into your thought process when making these movies.
I mean, I never want anything to be punishing or miserable. I like gore to be intense and crazy, but it's all just trying to be as theatrical as possible, like in the way that gore in Shogun Assassin is theatrical. You know, it's like big blood sprays, like it's a big setup and payoff scenario, which I think is just a way to like really make the conclusion to an action sequence satisfying is to end with a big gore gag or shock the audience with a big gore gag. But again, it's never meant to be mean or miserable or give anybody nightmares. It's just supposed to be like a big theatrical shock. And yeah, it's like as kid friendly as I can make an R-rated movie as possible
Yeah.
is always my goal. Because yeah, I want young people to watch these things. I want them to have fun and get that thrill of watching a thing they're not supposed to be watching, maybe get a little scared by some of the intense moments, but never push to the point where they're having nightmares about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think movies like Gremlins kind of does that. It's like just scary enough for a young kid to, damage them just enough, but not so much that it'll,
Yeah.
send them into a mental clinic for life.
Yeah, exactly. I think that a little bit of cinematic trauma is a good thing. We've all got it. We've all got those moments from movies that we grew up on that we think back on, and they freaked us out. But I think that's what, for somebody like me at least, that's what pushes me into pursuing filmmaking, is because I want to. It's just trying to like understand and grow from those experiences, and it definitely triggers something in my head, making me want to make my own movies, make my own monsters, make my own universes. Because then it's, I don't know, it's a real godlike power to be able to make these things and be the puppet master that decides when something's laughable, when something is scary, when something's intense. So yeah.
Yeah. What got you into writing and directing? Because I'm looking at your IMDb and you've done a bunch of special effects. The Hannibal TV show, which was awesome, Clown, Crimson Peak, freaking Capote. And I mean,
Yeah, I
this
mean,
is
that was
more,
one of the first things I worked on. And as an effects artist, those projects are me working at effects shops as an employee. So I kind of just, in that field, you just bounce from shop to shop. And I have a pretty extensive filmography. But it's not like I'm like getting these jobs and supervising them. In a lot of cases, like something like Capote, it's like I'm making molds and casting silicone and doing super unglamorous things, but it pays the bills and is a lot of fun for me.
I,
But yeah, like as far as how I got into writing and directing, that's what I started doing. I started in stop motion animation, doing claymations on my dad's Super 8 camera. So yeah, it was back in like the early 2000s. And yeah, that's when I got the bug and was like, I just want to be always making movies. So eventually I got a digital video camera. I started making movies with my friends, but then I would also do stop motion and integrate that with the live action footage. So I've always been making special effects movies, even when they're like super lo-fi, like shooting in my parents' garage type stuff. So yeah.
is stop motion. I would imagine that'd be therapeutic for you because I've done a little bit of that in art school and high school back in the day. And I remember it being real tedious, but it was also real easy to just kind of lock in and get into the zone. And then before you know it, like 6 hours went by, and I was like, oh, that felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that it was easily the most relaxing part of making this movie. There's a lot of stop motion I did for Deathstalker. And yeah, it's nice to just kind of hole up in my workshop. I put a podcast on or put some music on, and you just move these characters incrementally. It's fun to bring to life inanimate objects. So yeah, I find it very therapeutic. I enjoy it a lot. I'm always going back to it. I'm always finding ways to stick it in my movies. So yeah, I'll keep doing it.
And what were some of the inspirations for Deathstalker? Because obviously it's a remake of the 1983 movie. But I also get some like D&D in here, and I don't know if you're familiar with the board game Hero Quest, but the whole time I was watching
Oh
this,
yeah.
like I cannot wait to play the Deathstalker board game. Oh wait, it doesn't exist. Hopefully that happens someday.
I mean, maybe Show Factory will get a board game going. That'd be pretty wicked. But yeah, I grew up on Magic cards. That was a thing that I played in my early teens a lot. But also video games as well were a big inspiration. The like Doom spin like clones from the early 90s, like Heretic and Hexen, I play a lot. And also games like Diablo, even something like the original Warcraft, I think, would count as a bit of an inspiration as well. It was like medieval fantasy action stuff in the video game sphere was pretty prominent in the 90s. So I think that's a big influence on this movie for me. But also 90s TV as well. Xena and Hercules were big inspirations. And then, yeah, there's some slightly more like offbeat inspirations. I always reference the 90s Fist of the North Star live action movie that was directed by Tony Randall, the director of Hellraiser 2. That was a bit of an inspiration for this film. Assassin, Ninja Scroll. I was just pulling from all sorts of random places to make this thing. Give it a wholly unique personality that still fit into the catalog of Deathstalker movies.
Did you spearhead this, or did I gotta take on this Deathstalker and see if I can do a remake, or did like a producer come to you and say, "We want to do a Deathstalker remake, and that Psycho Gorman was good. Let's get the Psycho Gorman guy to do it."
No, basically the Ring Banner guys presented me with a list of Roger Corman properties that were up for optioning to be made into movies or TV or whatever. And so I went down the list. I went right to D. I saw Deathstalker was there, and I was like, that seems like that'd be a fun sandbox to play around in. So yeah, I just pushed them to option it from Shout Factory. And so Ring Banner and Shout Factory teamed up to help finance and make this movie. So
Was
yeah, it was pretty surprisingly straightforward. It took a while. I actually, in the time that I wrote and we finally got the financing for the movie lined up, it was like a couple of years. So in between, I actually made Frankie Frico. So it took a little while, but it was in the end a pretty straightforward process getting to this movie.
was a bucket of blood on that list, and can you go back to that list and maybe do one of those? Because I think your version of a bucket of blood might be pretty sweet.
I mean, that'd be fun. The list was constantly fluctuating, so all the good ones they'd be on it one day and then not be on it the next day. I know there's certainly Corman properties I would love to tackle, like something like Galaxy of Terror would be amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen an updated version in a while. I don't know if Bucket of Blood is on it, but yeah, I'll let you know next time I see it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely do that. I'd be excited for that. And what's the writing process like with Death, or just the filmmaking process in general? How is Deathstalker different from something like Psycho Gorman, or something that's your own as opposed to something that you're remaking something?
I mean, with Deathstalker, it basically was treated like it was my own thing. And that's why I picked it. I feel like the franchise, there's a few kind of core tropes that each one has, but otherwise, it was a pretty open world to mess around in and come up with my own mythology. And the universe of my Deathstalker that we're just kind of dropped into. I'm not pulling from any of the other movies necessarily. It's just it's just stuff that I made up and kind of built my own fantasy lore to make the backdrop of this movie. So yeah, the process really felt pretty similar to something like Psycho Gorman, where I was just sitting at my computer writing it and making monsters at the same time. Like I was sculpting that guy there, the red helmet guys, the Dreadites. Like I was sculpting those while I was writing the script because writing is not my favorite part of the process. So I was procrastinating and making monsters at the same time. But the sculpting of the monsters actually helped inform what I was putting down on the page and vice versa. So yeah, it was actually kind of a fun way to work at making the monsters while I'm writing my monster movie.
Yeah. What is about writing that kind of pumps the brakes on it, and then what do you do to hit the gas, I guess?
I mean, I guess I'm a very visual guy. I like physically making things, and looking at words on a page to me is like the least interesting way of realizing an idea. I mean, if I had the ability to do it, if I was any kind of a sketch artist, I would be like drawing my scripts in almost, was it Mad Max Fury Road, the whole thing, like I basically a comic book like it was storyboarded start to finish and basically read like a comic book. But I mean, I don't have the resources to do that, so I have to commit to putting things down on the page. And it's not that I don't get some enjoyment out of it. It's just I have to balance it out with visual stuff at the same time. So that's why I'll usually have a character I'm sculpting while I'm writing, so I can go back and forth and keep both parts of my brain busy at the same time.
I mean, the screenwriting format's been around for a while. No, I mean, nothing to stop you from making the change. Instead of writing a screenplay, just make a comic book, go here, this is what we're doing. Day one, day shoot, two shoot, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue is that I have to teach myself how to draw better than I can already. My sketches are not great. So,
Well, just sculpt
once
it
I'm
and take pictures, and there you go.
I mean, that's how I storyboard a lot of my stuff is I'll just use action figures and I'll take photos and just print those out, and that's my quick and dirty way of doing storyboards. So, yeah.
Fun. Well, Steven, you got another banger on your hands. Love Deathstalker. Love all your movies I've seen so far. So congratulations on that and all your success. And hope everyone goes to see Deathstalker in theaters October 10th. Just one last question. I already got kind of a couple in the conversation, but just want to get one film recommendation from you, like a movie this one's really good and no one ever talks about it.
When it's really good and nobody ever talked. I mean, this is the opposite of what you're looking for, but I just rewatched T2 and like that movie's perfect. So if you haven't watched T2 in a while, watch T2. I've actually started watching the Snake Eater movies. I don't know if you've seen those with Lorenzo Lamas.
Way, way back in the day, yes.
Yeah, they're like kind of late 80s, early 90s action schlock. Snake Eater 3, His Law. I recommend that. If you want a weird...
Oh, sorry. The thing, yeah, I can now. It froze up for a second. But anyway, Steven, thanks for joining me and congratulations on Deathstalker. And I can't wait to see the board game and the comic book and Deathstalker 2, 3, 4, and Bucket of Blood remake and whatever else you got in the future.
Yep, I promise that right now, all of those things will 100% happen.
I'm giving you way too much homework, but you have a good day. Thanks.
Thanks, man. Great chatting with you.